can you tell us, please, who are you and what is it that you do in the world?
Oh, wow. Well, thank you so much. And thank you, everybody, for taking the time today to come out and spend a little bit of time on bringing some clarity to our roadmap to sanity of 2021. My name is Pam Drzewiecki, and I am the owner and founder of Powerful Purpose, and it's a productivity and leadership coaching practice. I am a 28-year career person from insurance, the insurance world, coming off of that for 28 years. I've been in business full time now, 3 years, 5 years since the idea popped in my head. And that I started from, a pool secretary to chief operating officer when I ended up being coached right out of the business. I too published my first book and my only book so far, but Elizabeth, there will be more in the future when I was 50, and that's my #nugget 28 days to self-discovery book. So I'm here today because I really wanted to have a conversation around creating this roadmap that I call to sanity, though, for 2021, and kind of looking at where our roadmap was this year and what we've learned from that roadmap and what we're going to take into the future. So after we're done today, this will give you the tools and the resources to go ahead and maybe create a vision book or a vision board or something that you use to help you stay stable through uncertain times. Okay, Davia, can I share my screen? Is that okay? Am I able to do that? If not, I could work through it without it. Oh, I can't hear you, honey.
Okay, there we go. So yes, you can share your screen.
Okay, awesome. I just like to have some simple slides that it'll help keep me moving forward, because I love to chat and I love to share, and I want to be mindful of everybody's time also, and mindful for everyone to be able to share during this workshop, because it is a workshop, right? So everybody had a link for homework that was sent. If you did not receive that, that's okay. I'm going to be working through it. We could give it to you afterwards. It's not a problem. It was just a few questions to think about before we got started, but we'll be going through the process. So Davia, is it possible if you would be able, you are so fantastic at this, keep an eye on chat and everything else for me, and stop me if there's anything that I need. Okay, that's beautiful. Thank you. So many years ago, I was on the way to work and I looked down and I wasn't wearing my skirt. Yeah. No skirt. All I had on was just my slip and my pantyhose. That was it. Now, the reason was because of the chaos in my life at that particular time. That's what was going on. Chaos. I allowed everything to be driven by circumstances. Everything. All of my decisions that I made were driven by circumstances. Now, the reason why I share this story is because 2021 was filled with circumstances. There were so many different things going on. And as my life was back then, it was not a pandemic in a sense of health, but it was a pandemic in the sense of chaos that was going on in my life at that time. So for me to be able to get in my car and drive away with just a slip-on and notice that halfway to the office, that really was opening to me. So when I was putting things together, I was like, I wanted to think about how we could take what happened of things of 2020 that were out of our control, but also realize that there's things in our lives that are out of control also. that we could handle and shift anything the way that we need to shift it, okay? We have the power to do this. So today is for awareness, okay? It's for getting started. Awareness of the circumstances, not just because we're in the middle of an unprecedented times and we don't know what 2021 is going to be like, but because every busy woman need to be aware of what they need to create balance in their lives, right? So balance is an interesting word. There is no real balance, right? As most of us are learning, we need to fill all of our buckets, but each bucket doesn't require the same amount of time and energy or space in our life all of the time. It moves around. That's what makes it tolerable when things aren't just so, that when things get out of control, we're able to look at our buckets and figure where we might need something else to bring us back to a grounding place. And having this clarity is what and ultimately allows us to produce happiness, which brings the results that we need in our lives. So part of creating your vision or your roadmap is aligning with, and Christy could understand this for sure, is aligning with the awareness and the self-care that we need in our lives. And self-care is not selfish. It is really selfless. That's what it is. And I'm not just talking about massages and pedicures, which God knows I love that, right? And love putting that time in for myself. I'm talking about creating your roadmap for your overall self. Again, it's all about awareness of our needs. Then you're able to show up and live your best life, or show up and live your optimal life, like Devia is always encouraging us to do, right? So first I want you to meet yourself where you are, okay? I would love for you to close your eyes right now, take a deep breath through your nose, and blow it out through your mouth. Make it really intentional. Just bring it out. And let's do that a couple of times. In. One more time. In. Okay. Now, I don't know about you, but those 3 simple deep breaths and blowing out always grounds me and brings me to peace. Always. Before I started talking today, I did those 3 breaths before I got on. And I know most of you ladies really, really well, but it's a place to help me ground myself. Now you have a choice at this moment to be free, to really free yourself of judgments, the shoulds we should do, right? The shoulds, the have tos, and create a life from a place of freedom. Be open to shifting when necessary. When we do this, it frees our minds, right? It's stopping the mind from creating all those stories, negative thoughts, because our brain has the 2 functions: to listen to what we tell it and then to take action on it. So we need to be clear and concise with what you want. Be understanding that everyone doesn't have the same opinion, right? Be respectful. Be peaceful with all of your perceived imperfections, failures, or mishaps. Those are learning points for us. We're all grieving many losses from this year. You know, I was on a call with my business coach, and I'm telling you right now, I don't cry with my business coach. That is not his, that's not his gig. And Davia knows who my coach is. And, and there's no crying. It's not a therapy session. It's getting down to business and let's move forward. And that particular day, I was crying on the phone, and I was so surprised because he said, Pam, it's okay. It's okay that you're crying. It's because we're all grieving right now. So I'm just reiterating what we all have gone through off and on through 2020, and allowing ourselves to be in the moment that we need to be in, because for us to be aware of that, that's where we push forward. Okay. So when we are grieving or suffering from all of these different things that are going on still, never mind, vacations being canceled, or I was in Florida last week because unfortunately my mother-in-law had passed, but now I'm in quarantine for 2 weeks because I was in Florida, right? Like, so just all of this, this changing of not being able to worship the way we want, politics, all of this, but understanding when these tragic things are happening around us, it's our time. Sometimes really hard to think bigger and better things. It goes back to feeling selfish. If so-and-so is not doing well, is it okay if I'm excited to share my news that I am doing well? Right? So do you remember when you board on a plane, and everybody knows this, right? The flight attendant goes over all the rules and buckle your seatbelt, put your trays up. But the big and most important thing is to put your oxygen mask on yourself. That's what we need to do. Do we know? And please share, why do we have to do that? Why do they ask us to put our oxygen mask on first? Anybody want to? Well,
our instinct would be often to help the other people first, and then we might pass out, and who's going to help us? So we need to put it on ourselves first so that we can be available to help others too.
Yeah. So thank you, Elizabeth. It sounds like such an easy thing, but it's really not. And we have to remind ourselves, especially during circumstances, right? Especially when things aren't going exactly the way they should be going, that we need more attention than ever when we're in that situation. Okay. So that is it. That's the safety reason around it. There was a study conducted by the Project Happiness that they shared. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, but Project Happiness, that they stated 10% of our happiness is driven by circumstances, while 90% are driven by our thoughts. So what thoughts are you going to have in 2021? So right now, does everyone have a piece of paper, a little piece of paper or something that they could fold in half? Fold your paper in half, like this, okay? Just fold it in half. Now, either have scissors, or you don't even need scissors. You could just, hold on. You could just rip it if you want, but this is what I want you to do. I want you to take the piece of paper, and I want you either cut or rip out a heart shape on the paper, like this. Well, let's bring this in a little bit more. Doesn't have to be perfect. We have to embrace those imperfections that we may have, right? All right. Beautiful. Beautiful. Everyone could hold theirs up if they have it ready. Okay, now in the middle of it, I want you to leave room for two things to write underneath it. But in the middle of it, I want you to write your name. Okay. All right. And underneath it, I want you to put your I am statement. I am what?
What's an example, Pam?
Okay, like my statement is, I am resilient. It could be, I am powerful. I am committed. And if anybody has them, they could put them in the chat, or they could just unmute and just start saying them.
I am grateful.
Love it.
I am connected.
Yes. Yes.
I am resourceful.
Love that.
I am a trailblazer.
Oh, I love that.
I am tenacious.
Nice.
I am joy expressing.
Love it. Love it.
I
Love
am
it.
Child
supported.
of the Most High God.
Love it. Love it.
My heart's in two pieces. No. I didn't follow directions. I am silly. No.
You are a trailblazer, Lynn. You went on your own. There you go. That's beautiful. That's okay. Now, when we're done, you can make yourself another heart if you want, okay? And put that on there. And underneath it, if you think of it, I want you to write down what your superpower is. So, like, my superpower is getting things done. I mean, I just get things done. Okay, so that's my superpower. So underneath my heart, I am resilient, and my superpower is getting things done.
My superpower is connecting people.
Beautiful. Awesome. This is going to be a reminder of how amazing you truly are. Okay? So if you're having a bad day, a rough day, or things are not right, I want you to look at, beautiful, Lynn, beautiful. I want you to look at your heart and remind yourself of how amazing you are, okay? Post it where you could see it daily. My coaching style is all about visual. That's how I learn, and that's how my clients learn. Now, not everybody are visual learners, right? So we take different paths for that. But when we start creating our goals for the future, I always love to start with a visual of how we're going to get there. My superpower, Jess says my superpower is asking meaningful questions. That's awesome. Seeing the beauty in all things. I love that, Robin. Self-care is your superpower, Christy. Yes, yes. So that is awesome. Thank you all for participating in that, and make sure you keep your heart close to yourself, okay? So now what we're going to do is we're going to reflect. It's harder, right? It's harder to move forward if we're not open to what has happened behind us. Raise your hand if you think that statement is true. Yeah? Okay. We don't want to get stuck in the past. You know, we don't want to get stuck there, but we definitely want to take time around why things happened. Why did that happen that way? So like how I mentioned, I went to work without the skirt, right? Understanding the true reason allowed me to formulate a plan of action that was going to allow things to change, so I never left the house without a skirt again. And it is interesting because that event changed my life huge. It took many, many years to get that change in line, but it was the first step of awareness that I needed to know that things were bad, and then I needed to get my head out of the sand and address the situation that I was in. So sometimes something small like that takes big plans, but sometimes they don't. It just helps us move forward. So sometimes that 2 millimeter shift, that tiny little bit of a shift is what all it takes to make a change. Right? So, okay, on your homework sheet, if you guys have it, you were asked to list 3 things you learned from living in circumstance this year. So if you don't have it, that's the question I'm going to be asking right now is, what are 3 things that you've learned? You could jot them down if you haven't. If you have them and you either want to shout them out or put 1 or 2 or all of them in the chat box, that would be awesome. Let's see how they're going to help you plan for 2021. So are there any lessons out there? Things that we've learned. They don't have to, bad or good, from this year. Big area for growth. Yeah. Yeah. Stronger than you ever thought you would be, Lynn says. Absolutely. That's where that resilience comes in.
I've learned to appreciate my own company. Also to be grateful for the kind of business that I'm in because it allows me to work from home. And the importance of mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual health and awareness.
That's awesome. Beautiful, Rosa. So true. I mean, I've met so many women from all over the United States especially through eWomen or Ladies Power Lunch, right? Like that I would have never took the opportunity to do so, probably because I was very busy going to things, other things are filling my time. I've learned how to truly align with my God in my worship. And that was huge during this time because that was much different. Had to be making a point to have it part of my daily activity and my weekly or my weekend rituals, right? So those were learning points for me, stripping away things that I didn't need, that I thought I needed. I truly do have everything within me to succeed. Yeah, my life is so much easier than I've been giving myself credit for. Right, Robin? Not to take things or people for granted, to cope with uncertainty and see possibility in the unknown. Such beautiful things we've learned here, right? So what's one thing in each of the areas you might not have reached last year, but you wanted to reach? And it was on the homework sheet, but it was family. I could type it in here if you want. Family, personal. If I have a typo, just please bear with me while I want you to look at these different areas and see if you had goals that you had set to these different areas at the beginning of 2020, because it was going to be a big year, right? You remember planning for 2020 and how it's going to be 2020 vision and it's going to bring us clarity. Well, it did. It brought us clarity in a different way. It really did. So looking at these different areas, were there things that you wanted to achieve that you might not have had achieved? Finding online networking groups that I have. Yeah, so true. Yeah. So while you do your homework around this, okay, even after we're done, because this is going to help with the planning moving forward, these are the buckets in our life that truly need attention. Right? And that's where that statement of not everything is balanced, because we can't give 100% to every single one of these buckets every single day. We could maybe give 10% in one area and 20 in another, right? We may be able to look at them every day, but not give our full self and be okay with that. That's where that comfort comes in, that it's okay, that sometimes I might have to, spend more attention on my physical workout than I do about giving back that particular day, or vice versa. So understanding what it is that you need. Okay. How many, when you look back on your goals from 2021, how many of them did you, on average, did you reach? How many of them you didn't reach? And how many doesn't even matter anymore? And that you're looking at new goals. Yes, yes. So your goals that you've created for 2021, did you reach those goals? Many looking at new goal. Yes, Carlene. Surpassed some of my goals, many of them. Awesome. That's a beautiful thing. There's celebration happening right there in these comments. Celebrations. It's about the shifting. I had more visions come to life this year than I anticipated, Robin. That's beautiful. Some of the goals were reached, some have been delayed. And Nadine, is it okay that they've been delayed? And are they going to still be goals that you're going to, perceive or go after in the future? My goal had been to leave my corporate job for many years, and it finally happened. That is the best thing when that happens. Congratulations. Agree. Yes. So that's where I want you to reflect back. Spend some time reflecting on the past year. Okay. And or this year, and then figure out how you want it to, all the lessons that you've learned from this year to bring into the next year. Even if things start getting back and people are still, we're called to be together more in person and the busyness starts again, really just ground yourself on how you want it to be, not on how the world is asking us to be. Okay. So now that we've spent some time reflecting on this year, let's manifest what's ahead for 2020 for us, or 2021 for us. Jim Rohn, who's a motivational speaker, I'm not sure if everyone knows him, but he's amazing. He said that success is something you attract by the person you become. Right? So if we think about that statement, success is something you attract by the person you become. So spending that time on the awareness of who we are and who we want to become is identifying what the successes are. Yes, Christy.
Thanks. I wanted to ask this before we moved on. I did the homework and was listing out the things that I had as goals, but what I started to notice is I was right now listing goals that I had that came true, even though the way they came true wasn't the way that I had envisioned it. And I started listing those because I thought, well, to be aware of not only what wasn't fulfilled, but what actually was in a completely surprising way. And that creates excitement for me because I know that whatever wasn't fulfilled can still be fulfilled in a different way.
Exactly. That's a beautiful alignment, Christy. That's huge because there's always something higher than us that has a plan, right? So understanding that you could still reach a goal no matter how you get there and celebrating it, that it ends up happening is fantastic. That's huge awareness. That's great. Thank you for sharing that. It's really awesome. So while we're going back, it goes back to the mindset, right? Along with, like Christy said, but along with the consistency in our daily activities, keeping our eye on the prize. So sometimes that direction, that roadmap has to go a little around the corner sharper to get to that goal, then that straight on is okay. As long as we keep an eye on that prize that we want to happen. In this case, your prize is what you put in your roadmap. Okay, your roadmap can be your overall planning for the year. when you create your roadmap, okay, so it's a download. You could create your roadmap, and in the roadmap, you could use this roadmap for a whole year and then use it in different levels to break down to get closer to your goal. Okay, so my roadmap for 2021 is here. And what I do is in each area, you pick one thing that you want to focus on. Your roadmap is then that overall, and then you reverse engineer into that roadmap to create plans. And while we're manifesting that, just understanding that you may get roadblocks, and it's okay, because those are those learning lessons for us to go around them, or maybe it's meant for us to go into a different direction. I hired a personal trainer 2 years ago when money was very tight, because I had just started my business. I left my 6-figure career to say, I don't want to do that anymore, and I want to do this instead. So I hired a personal trainer. It was tight financially, but the goal was to get healthier and stronger. I worked on ways to get that money to be able to afford to reach that goal. So it was a multi-step process to get there. Now, 2 years later, 30 pounds lighter, 19 inches smaller, I'm stronger. I'm mentally and physically stronger. So it was worth going through the roadblocks. Okay, it was worth it. Holy shift. I love that. Liz isn't with us. Thanks, Audrey. That's dynamite. The roadblock is a redirect. Exactly. That's exactly what it is. So on my roadmap, I placed getting healthy, and some small quarterly, monthly, weekly goals were broken down from there. So that was what my goal was that year. Did you guys print out your roadmap at all? You did. Okay. So did you put anything inside any of the blocks right now yet that you want to share for a goal? Go ahead. Lynn, did you?
Yeah. So I did spend some time on this beforehand, and I actually just completed it just based on the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Just, for example, under family, of course, hoping to plan a vacation for next year, more trips to check on my parents and my in-laws, because we value that time.
Mm-hmm.
How some way we have to, be able to spend that time with them.
Mm-hmm.
But I did, and also the give back portion, to really stay focused on what makes a difference to me. And that's the community focus and my sister's wishes that she had left behind for me. So
it's beautiful.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. So then, Nadine, what we do once you do your roadmap, I'm going to give a link to a guide to creating goals, the ultimate guide to create the goals, so you guys could use that guide to creating the goals to make them stick, so you could get to the different areas that you want to reach. Okay, I'm going to share a link for you to download that information for you. So when you're spending time on your roadmap, what I encourage is find that one thing that speaks to your heart. Okay, not saying that has to be the only thing all year, but this right now is your overall focus for 2021. And then as you go through, you could make the goals smaller, right, and more concise, so you could reach them at different levels. So we're doing a broader vision around it right now. Okay. Anybody have any questions or might want to share what their goal, one of their goals is on their roadmap?
Hey, Pam, something you just said made me think about using this tool differently. Like initially I had written specific goals in these boxes, but they're small boxes and there's not a lot of space to write as many goals as I wanted to. So now I'm wondering if I could go back through and just for each section, identify a word, like a feeling that I want to have for that area. Like in my business life, I want to feel abundant. And in my physical, I want to feel strong. And then I can have goals underneath those things. What do you think of that?
Yeah, no, that's a really great idea. As Annie says, like the SMART goal situation, right? Breaking it down with the SMART goals. That's beautiful because again, in the middle, I have a power word of how you want to feel for the year, right? Like I want growth in 2021. I'm building a community and I want growth in this community that I'm building. So everything that really only in business, but spiritually, I want a community. I want growth there. That's my word, right? So I love that idea that you could actually use it for words of feelings in each box and then expand on it by using either SMART goals or that guide that I'm going to give you, how you could expand on reaching those goals by taking these other steps. That's great, Jess. Thank you. It's a great idea. It's really nice. Like with mine, my personal development was for overall goal for next year is to learn how to sing. I want to take singing lessons. 54 and I want to sing. I think I sound good. I don't know if anybody else thinks I sound good, but that's that's one of my big personal goals for 2021 is to take singing lessons. So if anybody knows vocal coaches, let me know. Okay. I choose a word of the year every year to guide me and serve as an anchor for all that I do. Absolutely. I mean, I do power words every year and every week. Some of you might have seen, I always listing what my power word is for the week. I pick power words for the week. And that's what anchors me. Oh, good, Jamie. You'll have to give me that information. Vocal coaches. Awesome. Okay. So that's where the roadmap is. That's to help you get grounded and start building your foundation. Okay. Let's see. So we're going to create. So this is where we're going to do some independent work, but we might be running slower, short on time for the independent work, but you guys could actually take that time. Thanks, Jess. I can't wait. I'm so excited. Maybe next time I present, I'll sing. That'll be my opening. I'll be the singing productivity and leadership coach. So I want you to spend some time on creating your roadmap, okay? Because that really is your foundation. And identifying, this is big, and this goes back to Davia, right? Like, I would love for you to identify who is on your dream team that's going to help you reach your goals. So that all goes back to that collaboration. Who are those people in your life or in your business that can help you reach those goals? And while you're designing your goal, write that person's name to it, because it goes back to working together. Like Dr. Davia says, it's a huge proponent is the collaboration in order for us to move forward, right? And she's the queen of that. She is the queen of collaboration. So think about that. Who's going to be on your dream team to help you with these goals? The other day, actually, I was asked to speak on a topic of collaboration and productivity for an interview series with women in technology, because I do a lot of work with women in technology and helping them grow their businesses. And the big takeaway was, if we are afraid to ask for help, there's no possibility of reaching the heights we're designed and destined to be. That was the big takeaway. So if we are afraid to ask for help, there is no possibility of reaching the heights we are designed and destined to be. make sure you have your dream team in place. Okay. And there, like Davia, there are, Audrey is saying here is that there's tons of people in Ladies Power Lunch. There's so much power there. And I love the fact that she brought up the point that it's not who we are today, but it's all of the possibility and information we have from who we were yesterday, right? In our previous careers before we started this. So now that we have our areas completed, put that power word. What power word are you thinking of to anchor your 2021? People could put them out there, choose one power word for the year, and then put that in the middle of your roadmap. Yeah, I would love to see it, or tell me some of your power words for 2021. Elevate. Love it.
Collaboration.
Awesome. Love it. That's right. Dream team, Elizabeth. Trust.
Can I have a power sentence? Does it have to be like just one word?
No, of course you could have a power sentence. Go for it. What is it?
So, and we workshop this, so it's, but it's success in any season. And that's the name of our summits for 2020. It's the name of our upcoming book for 2020, Ladies Power Lunch collaboration. It's just, we don't need the circumstances. Like you were saying, that's just 10%. The other 90% that brings us our success is really coming from within us. That's that's kind of what we want to communicate.
Absolutely. That's great. I love that. So, now when you have your roadmap completed, then go ahead, create a vision board out of it. Or I create vision books, and I actually make a chapter for each category. And then I could take it with me wherever I am. And in the back is a journal, and I journal different things that come to mind when I'm reaching my successes in it. Okay. So understanding how you absorb, it is critical. It's really critical in achieving your goals. So some of you might not be visual learners. Thank you, Annie. Thank you. Yes. If anybody wants to learn more about the vision book, just reach out. I'll have a conversation with you and let you know how I created that. But it's a lot of fun. I was able to do that vision book project with a homeless shelter here in town for all of the homeless people. I did that. So they were able to create their own vision book and keep it with them in their backpack. And I've gotten some amazing results back from people that have done that. It's absolutely wonderful. So understanding how you're going to absorb your information is really important, because there's all different ways that different people take on different things. So awareness, clarity, and knowing are very powerful tools, very, very powerful tools. So I know we're coming up on time, right? So not only do you get the gift of starting an amazing year, right? Like getting very excited about this next year. I'm going to give you these resources that you could use. And the resources are your ultimate goals, to create your ultimate goals. It's also to find more time in your schedule so you could have those ultimate goals. And then also a list of power words. And by doing that, all you have to do to get those free resources, all you need to do is, I'm going to type this in. And even on the free resources here, you click on that, you get those free guides. There's also a place there if you want to jump on a 30-minute call or whatever with me to go through any of your questions or designing anything moving forward. Please let me know, and you could go ahead and reach out to me for that. Does anybody have any questions right now? Thank you, Christy. Any questions on where we are? Okay, so this isn't goodbye. It's really always until we see each other again, because goodbyes are sad. But what I really want is for you to be the beacon of light, right? Understanding yourself and your needs will illuminate your space and everything and everyone around you. And really, since we've had some time together today, I invite you to take time to ask yourself these questions daily, okay, if you can. Ask yourself these questions. Am I living my optimal life? Am I engaging in my daily needs? Am I creating space to be me? Am I willing to put the oxygen mask on myself first? Am I living in gratitude and not attitude? Okay. I have a daily reminder, and it is, I don't want to just be comfortable. I want to be more. I want to do more than just survive, right? That's what I ask myself daily with those questions. So as you guys know, I'm a productivity and leadership coach. And what I do is help successful women take back their lives and to be best leaders of their lives so they could be great leaders of their businesses or their careers. And live your life. This was the very first nugget I ever wrote, was live your life with purpose instead of living by circumstances. That was what started Powerful Purpose for me. And that's what got me out of the life I was living before. So let's make 2021 rock. And we're so ready and we're so much stronger because we just have this amazing energy and team around us. So thank you, everybody, for joining me today.
Awesome. Thank you, Pam. I'm gonna invite you to stop sharing so
sure.
we can have a little bit of discussion. There we are. Thank you so much. Who got value from what Pam shared today? Anybody? I know it's not just me. Pam, thank you so much. This was just such an amazing presentation. I think part of the concern that I have sometimes is that we get so caught up with busy and rushing about that the planning piece and the introspection piece sometimes gets a little sidelined. And it's important to bring that to the forefront, especially right now. I think there's an opportunity for us to really plan 2020 very intentionally, but also to make room, like Christy was saying earlier, for life to flow to us and to not expect everything to have to happen in a rigid structure. So I'm going to just ask you, and you can just unmute and just share as you feel guided to, what was the biggest takeaway that you got from what Pam shared with us today? Who's got something? Anybody? Lynn.
Well, it's confirming to know you're not doing it wrong. You know, like it's confirmation that, you know, that we can look forward and we can hit the reset button when we need to and know that that's the right thing to do, and look inward and say, okay, you know, we can reflect and take that time and then come back out and continue. And then that's okay. Because previously, I don't think that we always thought that was okay.
And Lynn, I want you to just look around the room. There are 20 women here with us in the Zoom room right now. And we have people who've joined us also over on our Facebook group. So does it make a difference for you to know that the things that you are working with on 2020 and trying to plan for 2021, that you're not alone in this?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I've heard so many stories recently that have been like, oh, really? Like, just hearing that confirmation that other people struggle too, it really is just, it's nice to know that you're in company of others and that it's not just you. It just is. I mean, I think we all feel that same way, that it's just confirming. to know that.
Yes, absolutely. And I'm going to invite you, Pam, to definitely, go in the group, because I did post your portion of today's workshop up on the Facebook group. And I'm going to invite you to go in and just engage with the comments that people have there. I'm going to invite all of you who've made it onto the call today to go into the Facebook page and just keep this post trending, so that every single day we can keep this conversation going about how we can really, in a very meaningful way, make 2021 the year that we want it to be. Anybody else got anything? I know it wasn't just Lynn. Somebody else had to have gotten something out of today. Elizabeth, Annie, and then Audra.
I absolutely love the idea of picking a word for the year. It feels like it's so simple, but it's so powerful. Like, and it can relieve so much just confusion and overwhelm. If you go, well, what's my word? It can bring so much clarity. So thank you so much for reminding us of that, Pam.
Yes, it just kind of focuses you back, right, Pam? My word for 2020, it was flow, right? And yeah, every day it sits on my desk. I come in and I wave my flow flag. Yes, awesome. I come in and I wave my flow flag, and I just want to make sure that I'm putting myself in that position where spirit can flow through me and touch the lives of the people that I come into contact with. I just want to be the vessel. That was my intention for 2020, and I feel like I'm on my way to that. I feel like that's happening for me.
Yeah.
I said Audra next, and maybe Annie, if you still wanted to comment.
Sure, I'll go. Yeah, what I liked, Pam, was your roadmap. I've seen all sorts of iterations like that. And, what I said was looking at the big rocks and then taking one goal for each one and then distilling that down to even just one or two from those big goals. I mean, that's like, the big funnel, and then funneling it down so that you can focus on one or two big goals of the year. That was brilliant. So thank you very much for that.
Thank you, Annie.
Thank you.
Audra, you had something you wanted to share?
I will have a hard time articulating all of this, but I definitely want to thank you for sharing your, rock bottom and the seed that planted your need or willingness to be open to the learning that you had to do to be able to create this course and this business that you have that is helping thousands of women. I mean, you're not going to be open to this divine gift until you really need it. And to have found the strength from such a weak moment is pretty inspiring. I think our why, right? Sharing your why story was something you didn't need to do. You didn't need to be that vulnerable, but it made your message way more powerful. And I'm so excited to get my planner today. And you can read all this stuff, but I think your videos are terrific. And the way you went through it slowly and methodically made it come to life. Everyone's like, oh, what's your power word? What's your power word? What's your word for the year? But you showed why it drives everything else we do and all the buckets that it really will help align. There's so much wealth to what you shared. So thank you for your time.
Thank you, Audra. Thank you. That was very sweet.
Awesome. Yes, I have to agree with Audra because I know Pam really well, guys. Like, I love her so much, and I did not know that story. So that was something new that I learned about you today, and it made me feel like closer to you in a way, if that is even at all possible. So thank you for sharing that. Anybody else? One or two last shares before we go, Jamie, and then Jess.
So something that really kind of struck me is that there is no balance, because everything that I do and everything I think that we're told is that we need to strive for balance. Mm-hmm. And it's okay to not have everything be equal and to give and take, based on which bucket needs what at what time. So that's, I think, an excellent way of looking at it and not something that I had thought of in that way. So I am very appreciative of that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I like to
Love
keep
that.
things very simple, as you could tell, because I think it's easier when things are simple, right? They don't need to be overcomplicated.
I want to share something. Jamie, just based on what you said and Pam saying that everything is visual, based on what you just said, Jamie, I'm now seeing that there is no balance, and life is like a what's the thing? Merry-go-round? What's the thing that goes up and down at an amusement park?
A Ferris wheel?
The Ferris wheel. Like, so not everyone is at the top. Not everything or every bucket is at the top and the priority. You know, it moves. And so then you wonder so what 3 cars heading towards the top of the Ferris wheel do we need to focus on? And the other, 12, we don't have to worry about.
Right.
And it's going to always be constantly moving, and it doesn't usually go in reverse, but maybe it has to. So
it does fall back a little when we stop, right?
So if our Ferris wheel is wobbly, then we have a problem, and we need to, straighten it out a little bit. So thank you for that, ladies.
That's awesome.
I thought of it more like a tilt-a-whirl. Yeah, right. That's what life is. At least these days, right?
And Jess, you had something that you wanted to share. I'm dying to hear what it is.
Yeah, well, my power word was community, because so often I have not been one to ask for help and have gotten down the road and overwhelmed and then given up on the goal or just like struggled through it on my own. And so lately I've been in communities like this in the past week a couple of times where people could just speak what it is that they need, and then immediately the solution is there. Like overwhelmingly today, you've got more vocal coaches, Pam, than you could ever use in a lifetime. And so it's really inspiring to me that I can put myself in communities like this that are so supportive, and I don't have to do it alone.
I love that. And I am looking forward to everybody really just appreciating that you really do not have to do it alone. There's like nothing that says that you have to do it alone. There's no written rule that says that that has to be a thing, and that doing it together is way more fun, but it's also easier. And I am gonna, with that note, close out our meeting today. I want to say thank you to Pam for being an amazing, amazing workshop facilitator as always. Every single time she comes, she outdoes herself, which I keep thinking it's not possible, and then it happens. So thank you. I want to say thank you to all of you who showed up here and to those of you who joined us over on the Facebook group. Amazing. I invite you, please keep the conversation going over there. And I invite you to be very visible and very participatory over on our Facebook community. We have this meeting on the 3rd Monday of every single month. So I invite you to bring a friend. Next month, we're going to have sort of like a mastermind setup where we're going to keep the planning for 2021 going, but we're going to do it more in a mastermind setting. So come prepared for that and bring a friend. I want to also say that there are tons of ways that you can participate with Ladies Power Lunch. Whether you want to be part of our Ladies Power Lunch podcast network, you can talk to me, you can talk to Jamie. If you want to be part of our book process that's going on, that's coming out, Success in Any Season, in coming out next year, you can talk to Elizabeth about that. We have our upcoming summit for 2021 in March, and we're going to be looking for workshop speakers and facilitators for that, so you can keep that in mind. And of course, we have our ongoing series, the Free Gift Fridays and the coffee breaks and all the little fun things that we're doing over in our Facebook group. So I invite you, just stay visible, stay a participant, and if you have a friend that you think would benefit from what we're doing here, please do invite them to join us, because the more of us that we have here, the more fun we'll have, 1, and 2, the more our communities will grow and the more our businesses will grow. Thank you everybody for showing up today, and we're right on 2 o'clock, right on time. Have a great day. We'll see you next time. Bye.